All right, get ready for a full-ride recap of this absolute gem of a story. They say childhood friends can't beat newcomers, and right after the handsome Jiang Qi transferred in, the rebellious Cheng Xia turned into a gentle kitten around him until she casually uttered one cold sentence. She said she didn't want to see Lu Ning at school, forcing his terrified parents to transfer him overnight. He completely vanished from her world, but then, right on her actual birthday, she literally showed up at his door soaking wet. Talk about a wild plot twist right off the bat. To be completely honest, Lu Ning used to scoff at that ridiculous saying. But sitting in the crowded auditorium, watching Cheng Xia gaze up at Jiang Qi singing on stage, seeing her eyes full of undeniable tenderness and love, in that exact moment, he finally believed it. He also finally believed those crazy rumors. Rumors about how the arrogant, fierce Cheng Xia, hiding in a completely empty stairwell, softened up and completely gave in to Jiang Qi, leaving Lu Ning's deep, unspoken love buried in his heart. Locked away in his heart forever as the beautiful song came to an end. He joined the crowd, clapping for the incredibly talented and shining boy on the stage. Cheng Xia stood up and left her seat, clearly going to find her new favorite. Lu Ning got up and quietly left the auditorium too, walking out completely alone. Walking outside, he held up his hand, revealing a small gourd charm hanging from his wrist. It swayed in the wind, recalling the day she shyly handed it to him and he asked what it was. It turned out 7-year-old Cheng Xia had watched a dramatic soap opera with her aunt and learned about love tokens, gifting it to Lu Ning so he would only ever have eyes for her, and promising to protect him forever, a childhood vow that still made his eyes sting. He gripped the charm tightly, knowing childhood promises are rarely ever meant to be real. But he believed her anyway, holding on to the word of that fearless girl. The tyrant princess of the Sheng family was his entire youth's beautiful, hidden secret. Then came Jiang Qi, the extremely handsome transfer student who could sing like an absolute angel, making a massive splash immediately while all the excited girls in class started whispering. They said Jiang Qi was just like a classic campus romance novel male lead. An obedient, good boy destined to be targeted by the wild school rebel princess Cheng Xia, who would eventually fall head over heels for him despite already having endless suitors chasing her. Someone even teased her about hooking up with Jiang Qi, but she just stretched out lazily, glancing at them with a smirk, scoffing that he wasn't worthy. The irony here is actually crazy. To be honest, Lu Ning never believed they were actually together because he hadn't seen it himself, or heard her confirm with her own voice that she was falling for another guy. But now he knew, realizing it was finally time to let go and keep his distance from her. They used to walk home together every single day, but everything slowly began to shift between them. She started making up excuses to send him home early, though she could have just been honest with him. He wasn't the type to ever cling, especially since they were never actually a couple anyway. During Sunday self-study, the rebellious Cheng Xia always flat-out refused to turn in any homework, casually telling the class rep she didn't write a single word, even though she used to listen to him. Knowing she only listened to Lu Ning, the reps would always complain to him immediately. They still do, except now she is absolutely nowhere to be found on campus, running off to find Jiang Qi after class, leaving desperate reps to complain about her unfinished homework. Since she completely vanished, he simply tells them to hand everything in to the teacher. Shaking his head with a faint smile, he tells them not to bother complaining to him anymore. Hearing that, they could only nod in completely quiet disappointment. At this rate, the rumors about Cheng Xia having a boyfriend are starting to look totally real. And seeing Lu Ning's totally indifferent reaction only makes the class even more convinced. Once class starts, he keeps his head down, burying himself in a practice exam. He wanted them to get into Beicheng University together, but now he has to grind alone. To chase his dream, he focuses on studying while Cheng Xia skips the entire evening session. Up front, the teacher frowns and asks the class where Cheng Xia even is. Naturally, everyone turns to look at Lu Ning, but he doesn't raise his head once. By the second period, she finally slips back inside and sits down without saying a word. A classmate whispers that the homeroom teacher is calling her to the office. She snaps out of it, pausing for a split second as she passes his desk. But he does not look up. He's too busy solving the final, toughest math problem. Usually he gets stuck on the second part of these, but today he's forcing it. Once he finally cracks it, his deskmate leans in to whisper. She asks what is going on with them, but he just claims it's nothing. His deskmate doesn't buy it. He was always the one stressing when Cheng Xia skipped. Seeing her disbelief, Lu Ning freezes for a brief moment. He tells her that was the past. From now on, she is on her own. His deskmate gasps, asking if the rumors about Cheng Xia and Jiang Qi are actually true. Lu Ning just stays quiet as the bell rings for the next study session. Cheng Xia finally strolls back in, and a moment later, she slips him a note. It tells him to leave first after school. Reading those words? He calmly folds the paper up and goes right back to his exam. Once the bell rings, the room becomes pure chaos as he quietly packs his bag. Suddenly, the noisy classroom goes dead silent as his deskmate lets out a gasp. Following her eyes, he looks up to see Jiang Qi standing at the door, tilting his head. He raises an eyebrow at Cheng Xia, turning around to walk away. Lu Ning can't help himself. His eyes immediately track over to Cheng Xia. She just smiles helplessly and follows the dancer out, sending the classroom into absolute frenzy. Everyone is whispering. They are actually dating. But I thought she and Lu Ning were perfect. You know, the classic delinquent girl and the top model student trope. But honestly, a school bully and a dancer combo? It just hits different. Still, is anyone else feeling bad for Lu Ning? They literally grew up together. The childhood friend trope loses to the newcomer once again, and his deskmate tries to comfort him. He swings his bag over his shoulder, but his heart is absolutely breaking inside. It hurts like crazy, but he forces himself to keep a smile on his face. No tears. He cannot let a single person in this room see how shattered he is. Unless he wants to be the school laughingstock by tomorrow, so he just says he is fine. He tells her they were only ever friends anyway, then tells her he is heading out. His deskmate waves with pure worry in her eyes, wishing him a safe trip, telling him to be careful as he finally steps out of the noisy school gates. He grips his backpack straps tight, clenching his jaw as hard as he can. But the tears just start spilling over anyway, and his chest feels completely suffocated. It hurt so bad. How could she just fall for someone else out of nowhere? Through his blurry vision, he can still hear her confident, arrogant voice echoing in his head, calling out that Cheng Xia is completely unstoppable. He always said Lu Ning was his to protect for life, so why did she not wait for him? Cheng Xia was late that morning. After class, he came over to complain with a resentful look. He plops a carton of milk on her desk, making Lu Ning pause, her pen freezing on her vocabulary list. Glancing at the carton of milk from the corner of her eye, she quietly says she already ate. She also adds that they should stop walking together because she plans to arrive at school very early from now on. Cheng Xia sits down in the next seat, looking completely baffled and lost as to what she is doing. He leans on his hand, staring at her and complaining that he did nothing wrong and they always walk together. Things are different now, she says, putting her pen down. Taking a deep breath, she smiles and reminds him that he has a boyfriend now. They really need to keep their distance. Hearing this, his playful expression instantly fades into a serious one. But then he scoffs, saying his boyfriend won't even mind, though she quickly counters that she herself minds. She looks him in the eyes and says she does not want to be caught in the middle. If your relationship ever faces any issues, I am definitely not going to become the target here. Honestly, Cheng Xia has an incredibly short fuse and absolutely zero patience to sit through talks like this. At this point, his patience is completely dried up, and his face suddenly turns icy cold. He abruptly stands up from his seat, making the chair scrape loudly against the floor with a harsh screech. He snaps that she can do whatever she wants, while she simply hangs her head. She silently closes her eyes as the pain hits. Just last night, she had sat on the balcony all night in the cold wind, wondering if she should keep acting like a fool. Should she continue to hide her deep feelings for him and just tag along behind him? Or was it time to let their childhood bond end right here? Honestly, this is so heartbreaking, because everyone knows you can never truly hide who you love. Staying close would only torment her, and it would be incredibly unfair to his new boyfriend, Jiang Qi. Let's be real, absolutely no boyfriend wants his partner to have a super close female bestie hanging around. It is just bound to cause drama. And unfortunately, from that very date onward, Cheng Xia never speaks a single word to her again, completely ignoring her even when they pass each other in the school hallway. He just walks right past her like she is a ghost, the girl who used to walk by his side. Has officially changed from Lu Ning to Jiang Qi. Cheng Xia is already introducing Jiang Qi to everyone in his social circle because Jiang Qi is his first love. And the boy he is completely crazy about. Meanwhile, Lu Ning just quietly focuses on her own studies, listening to the romantic gossip about their love story from other students just like everyone else. Whenever Jiang Qi has to travel out of town to participate in some extracurricular activity, Cheng Xia will travel absolutely any distance just to accompany him and keep him company. Like just a few days ago, when a tough female athlete from a neighboring school cornered Jiang Qi in a dark alley after class. Rumor has it, Cheng Xia absolutely wrecked him. Talk about final boss energy. Meanwhile, our girl Lu Ning focused and ranked first in her grade again. Her teacher had actually warned her before to stay away from Cheng Xia, saying hanging out with him would only drag her grades down. After all, Cheng Xia's family is insanely rich, so school performance never really mattered to his future anyway. Staring out the window at the beautiful, massive sunset after class, Lu Ning can't help but feel a wave of nostalgia. She remembers a hot, humid afternoon when Cheng Xia suddenly asked her which university she wanted to attend. He had sat right next to her, playfully intertwining his long fingers with hers in a completely casual way. She had answered Beicheng University without a second thought, and he complained that it was way too far. But the truth is, she never actually told him the real reason why she was so desperate to go to Beicheng University. It wasn't just because it was a highly prestigious school, but because she desperately wanted to escape this city. She wanted to escape her toxic family. Her father, like so many other men, completely changed. The moment he got rich, even though her mother stubbornly refused to get a divorce, it didn't take long before both of them had completely separate secret families on the side. Lu Ning felt completely left out, so she decided to aim for Beicheng University too. Cheng Xia teased that Lu Ning was too silly to survive without her. She joked things would get messy, but this bragging girl was her entire world. Cheng Xia was the only light in her dark world, and she wanted to hold on. Honestly, she was willing to waste every second of her life for her. Even if Beicheng University was out of reach, just going to the same college was enough. But out of nowhere, a nasty rumor spreads that Jiang Qi is a homewrecker. When Lu Ning and her deskmate return from the restroom, Jiang Qi runs past, crying. Then, out of nowhere, Cheng Xia storms up and slaps Lu Ning right across the face. She looks absolutely furious, screaming that Lu Ning promised to stay far away. What is she even playing at? Lu Ning can only feel her cheek burning in pain. Her deskmate steps in, yelling if she is crazy since they literally just got back. But Cheng Xia just glares with pure hatred, telling Lu Ning that she's disgusting. Her friend asks if she's okay, while Lu Ning clenches her fists in silence. She lets them go helplessly as her friend sighs and tries to comfort her. Honestly, who even knows what Cheng Xia and her boyfriend are crying about this time? Lu Ning just stares out the corridor window into the cold, pitch-black night. The sheer hatred in Cheng Xia's eyes makes her feel like she is looking at a stranger. The hate is real, and Lu Ning realizes the sweet girl from her memories is gone. She is completely gone. Later, a classmate cautiously approaches her in class. They pass their phone under the desk, showing her a viral, anonymous post. It was posted on the school forum, making a wild accusation. It claims Jiang Qi is a homewrecker who ruined Lu Ning and Cheng Xia's friendship. The comments below are absolutely brutal, dragging Jiang Qi through the mud. With her swollen cheeks still burning, Lu Ning plans to clear things up after school. She wants to post a clarification immediately, but things get worse before she reaches home. Her parents are sitting on the sofa with dark expressions, obviously waiting for her. Sensing trouble, she freezes as a glass cup is hurled, shattering right at her feet. Her dad slams the table, roaring about what she did to offend Cheng Xia. His eyes are bloodshot with rage as he demands answers. He yells that their company relies on cooperating with Cheng Xia's family. He asks if she's trying to ruin his life and bankrupt the company. Lu Ning just stands there, taking her mother's cruel abuse. Honestly, these parents are the worst. She gets called completely useless, and her father demands she go apologize to Cheng Xia. The silence in the massive house makes her shiver, feeling cold down to her bones. At this point, she totally blanks out, forgetting how the interrogation even finished. All she remembers is being dragged to Cheng Xia's place to beg for forgiveness. She desperately wants to explain that she did not make the post, but will clarify. But when the door swings open, Cheng Xia just looks down on her coldly. That bone-chilling stare makes all of Lu Ning's words die in her throat. Lu Ning bows her head to apologize, but Cheng Xia barely gives her a glance. Leaning against the frame, she casually says she never wants to see Lu Ning again. Her spineless parents bow and scrape, promising that their daughter will never cross her path. Lu Ning mechanically lifts her head under the harsh, cold white lights of the hallway. She can no longer read the expression of the girl who used to be her light. At that exact moment, Lu Ning's pride was dragged completely through the dirt. He finally realized that he and Cheng Xia were never from the same world. They were never equals. Their social status was entirely different. That bright moon would never lower itself, and a reflection in a well is just an illusion. It was all a lie, and that rich heiress who acted so sweet to him before? It was just a temporary whim, and he should have never gotten his hopes up. The whole thing was a mistake from the start, so that night he packed his bags. His parents arranged a transfer, and now he has been at the new school for 2 weeks. He rented a small place nearby because his foster parents were terrified of Cheng Xia getting angry again. They basically told him not to come home, keeping them on opposite sides of the city. They would never cross paths, until a voice calls out, asking him to watch her dance. The girl speaking is wearing a tight black and white outfit, her gorgeous fox eyes full of playfulness. On his very first day, a classmate had warned him that this girl is Shen Mantang. She is notoriously gorgeous, but a total player, and everyone in the classroom pretends to mind their own business while secretly watching. Honestly, this drama is getting spicy. Honestly, Lu Ning has already lost track of how many times Shen Mantang has cornered him. The rumors say she has never chased a guy before, let alone for this long. Especially not this long, but teenagers always crave drama. At their teenage age, everyone is always hoping for a classic school romance trope. They want it to happen to them or someone close by. They say she is turning over a new leaf, but Lu Ning just shakes his head. He calmly declines, telling her he still has homework to do. She glances at his desk, raising an eyebrow, and asks if he even cares. She reminds him she has chased him for 2 weeks, but he just scoffs. She asks why he keeps rejecting her as the empty classroom quietly clears out. Outside, a stunning orange sunset begins to paint the entire sky. It reminds him of an old saying that the evening breeze is free. The sunset is free, and he is absolutely one of a kind. She tells him there is this massive, fascinating contradiction in his vibe. Suddenly, a loud whistle from the sports field cuts through the quiet moment. He looks at her, and she smirks right back at him. She sees a mix of numbness and hidden edge, making her even more obsessed. He just gives her a freezing stare and calmly warns her. She should head down since the match against Li Cheng First High is starting. Her voice remains soft, playfully amused by his cold attitude. He does not care. He just goes back to his studies while she clicks her tongue and leaves. Once she is gone, he looks up at his phone screen. He stares at a hateful post on the school forum, already guessing who leaked it. But honestly, what is their motive? The school forum drama is getting wild. At 6:30, the school cuts the power, plunging the classroom into darkness. With only the fading sunset lighting the room, he packs his things, slings his bag over his shoulder, and heads down into the cool evening breeze. Crabapple petals fall to the ground, scattered and swept away in the wind. He stands there alone, reflecting on his brief, chaotic life. She feels as helpless as a drooping begonia flower when suddenly a voice calls her name. That snaps her back. She immediately tries to leave. But she gets blocked by 2 very familiar faces. Talk about bad timing. They are shocked to see her here, knowing she only hung around because of Cheng Xia. Back then, they were all cool. Right now, both of them are holding drinks. Looks like they just came from the store, asking if she really transferred. She stares, not quite getting why they sound so surprised. She nods. A short-haired girl nudges her friend. She says, "Lu Ning, since you and Cheng Xia grew up together and he is here today?" Maybe you guys can finally clear up whatever misunderstanding happened. Honestly, everyone else believed Lu Ning was innocent, but Cheng Xia, her childhood best friend? He blamed her. Before she can even respond, a cold voice cuts her off. Does buying water seriously take this long? Or are you just wasting time talking to completely irrelevant people? Cheng Xia stands nearby, giving her a freezing, gloomy look. This guy is seriously toxic. He treats her like a total stranger. The friends look incredibly awkward and glance at her. She just smiles and walks away. Her days at Fourth High are peaceful now. Time moves slowly here, and sometimes she still gets trapped in her own head. She wonders why nobody loves her when she is always top of the honor roll. Her mom always told her that everyone loves kids who get perfect grades. As she grew up, she realized only teachers actually care about that. But she does not care anymore. She just quietly studies and waits for the exams. She is waiting for college entrance exams, not some guy. Her grades are absolutely dominating. She takes first place in the massive citywide joint exams, standing proudly on the podium. The warm summer wind blows her hair and rustles her loose school uniform. Looking down, she sees a sea of students in identical blue and white uniforms. Their eyes are filled with pure admiration. Meanwhile, the principal stands at the microphone. He is using every grand compliment imaginable, hyping her up as the school genius. Outside, vines climb the classroom windows as the cicadas buzz through the heat. The sunsets glow brighter, and the sound of seniors studying echoes through the halls. Everyone is wishing they could just press pause on time to slow things down. She never sees Cheng Xia anymore, and she has completely lost touch with those old friends. Honestly, they were always his friends anyway, never truly hers. When summer break starts, she avoids going home since it is right next to Cheng Xia. Ever since she transferred, her family has only told her one thing. Avoid Cheng Xia. Make sure he never sees you again. She is 17 now, and senior year is just around the corner. Her parents have never once asked if she is feeling stressed about her future. They do not care at all. Sitting under a dim street lamp, she is all alone. She just studies English on a bench. But you know what? That is fine. Every formula she writes down and every single word she memorizes is her ticket out. Each completed practice test builds her path to escape this place. It is carrying her toward a brighter future while strangers walk past without looking back. Nobody stops for anyone else. Later, as she walks out of the library, her phone suddenly rings. She answers, but there is only dead silence on the line. She frowns, looking at her phone. It's an unsaved number. She tentatively answers with a hello, but the other side stays completely silent. Without hesitation, she hangs up on Lu Ning. Just then, Shen Mantang walks out of the martial arts hall. He waves her over, running up to ask if she wants to grab some food. Clutching her books, she glances at the girls behind him, who are giggling and rushing off. She tells him she'll just grab takeout, so he should go with his friends instead. But he complains eating takeout every day is way too unhealthy. He promises to treat her to a massive feast and drags her away. He brings her straight to a high-end French restaurant where everyone is dressed in formal suits. People are rocking elegant gowns, and even the waiters look like they're wearing tuxedos. Then there's her and Shen Mantang. Our girl is wearing a baggy white t-shirt and black jeans. Meanwhile, he is rocking a bright red crop top and black cargo pants. They look completely out of place here. She immediately stops him. Is he for real? Are they actually going in dressed like this? Hearing her, he just blinks in confusion. Isn't it just a regular place to eat? Honestly, I love his effortless confidence here. He's just built different. Before she can even make a decision, a waiter walks right up to them. Despite their super casual outfits, he smiles and politely asks if it's a table for two. Shen Mantang nods, and the waiter warmly invites them to follow him. He politely leads the way, guiding them through the fancy dining room. They walk over to a prime window seat, and he asks if they'd like to enjoy the view. Shen Mantang looks over with a smirk, letting her make the call. She checks the time. It's just past 6, so they should catch a beautiful sunset. She gives a soft nod, and the waiter smiles knowingly. He presses a hidden button, and the dark glass suddenly clears, letting in a gorgeous beam of golden light. Her jaw literally drops. This is actually crazy. How is that even possible? By the time she snaps out of it, the waiter has already slipped away. Shen Mantang slides the menu over, asking her what she's craving. But looking at those prices, absolute insanity. She instantly hesitates.
Shen Mantang just laughs, teasingly asking if she's worried about making him go broke. The golden sunlight bathes his face, making his eyes sparkle under the glow.
She admits everything is pretty pricey, but he insists he's got more than enough cash. He tells her to get whatever she wants, so she just slides the menu back.
She says she's not a picky eater at all. He takes it back, teasing that she's easy to please.
Then he asks how she likes her steak done. She hates raw meat. He thinks it over, warning her that well-done steak can get super tough.
He suggests 90% cooked. She agrees, and they finalize the order. Once that's done, she points at herself, asking him to guess what she feels like right now. He takes a sip of water, a slight smirk playing on his lips as he plays along. She says she feels like Granny Lu entering the Grandview Garden, and he bursts out laughing.
When Shen Mantang laughs, his shallow dimples show, looking incredibly bright and warm.
And oh my god, here comes the heartbreak. Our girl is getting major flashbacks to the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister also had a single dimple whenever he smiled, though he rarely did. Most days, he'd only offer a faint, gentle smile. Back then, she loved to gently tap that exact spot.
She'd tell him to smile more because he looked absolutely beautiful when he did.
But once Cheng Xia transferred over, he started smiling way more.
Sometimes it was a super sweet, almost shy kind of smile.
Looking back, there is one universal truth that always applies. He just did not like smiling around her. This dinner started at peak sunset. By the time they finished, the sky was pitch black outside. The square was packed, and he told Lu Ning he was super happy today. As she looked up, he smiled down and dropped a bomb. It was his birthday.
She was shocked. If it was his birthday, she should have been paying.
Why did he not tell her sooner? He just gave her this super pouty, wronged look.
He said he was low-key scared she would have bailed on him. She insisted there was no way she would do that.
Now she was frantically trying to think of a birthday gift to buy him. Suddenly, he leaned right into her space, his warm breath hitting her face. He playfully asked what she was getting him, showing off his freshly dyed golden hair. The school even put him on the public shame board for that crazy hair color. With the wind blowing his wild locks, he asked for that special perfume sachet. He was talking about the time she was packing up her desk. Her handmade sachet had slipped out, and he casually picked it up to inspect it. He had teased her, asking to keep it, but Lu Ning turned him down. But she only said no because of the history behind it. It was originally meant for her ex-crush, Cheng Xia, and she had hand-stitched it herself. Even though she would never give it to Cheng Xia now, it still felt wrong. Giving Shen Mantang a second-hand leftover gift? Nah, he deserved way better than that. So she eagerly agreed, promising to make him a brand new one if he waited. She would handcraft a fresh sachet just for him. On their walk back, Shen Mantang quietly asked her which university she wanted to get into.
Looking up at the sparse stars, she softly answered, Beicheng University.
When he asked why, she admitted she hated this city because it never snowed. She desperately wanted to see real snow, and he just stared down, deep in thought. He simply nodded as they slowly reached the front of a rented apartment. After bidding her goodbye, she walked a few steps before turning back. The boy in his red jacket was standing in the shadows, smiling faintly. But his eyes looked so incredibly lonely that it made her heart ache. She could not resist shouting out to him, wishing him a happy birthday. He waved back with a bright grin, promising her she would definitely make it to Beicheng.
She thought they had all the time in the world, yet she rushed to stitch his sachet.
Wondering if he would like the bitter scent of wormwood, she kept working.
She even bought dried flowers and crafted 2 beautiful safekeeping amulets.
One was a bright red charm, and the other featured a cool azure dragon. Once finished, she strung them together and held them up in the morning sunlight. She was so excited to see his reaction when she finally handed them over. The second she got off the bus, she practically sprinted to his place. But when she finally arrived at Shen Mantang's apartment complex, she saw movers carrying furniture out, and her entire body instantly froze. Her heart sank like a stone as she slowly walked toward the chaos.
Shen Mantang softly asks a girl nearby about the original owner of this house. She is told that Lu Chen already moved away a few days ago.
Heart crushed, she can only nod blankly and turn to leave. Sitting alone, she struggles to digest the reality that Lu Chen is actually gone. Why leave without saying a single word? Honestly, weren't they supposed to be friends?
She slowly closes her eyes as tears silently spill down her cheeks.
The handmade gift bag feels incredibly heavy now. Why get her hopes up just to abandon her?
Everyone always ends up leaving her. Coldly, she wipes away the tears before they can fall.
She tosses the handcrafted gift straight into the trash and walks away without looking back. Later that night, pouring rain hits as she stares out the window, completely lost in thought. She pulls up Lu Chen's contact, staring at the screen but too afraid to hit call. What is she even supposed to say if he answers? Ask him why he left without saying goodbye? Maybe to Lu Chen, she was just some girl he chased on a passing whim. Not even worth a proper explanation. Talk about low-key heartbreaking. She really feels like a joke. Falling for the same tricks over and over, she never seems to learn her lesson. A sudden knock at the door snaps her back to reality, and she opens it. Standing on her porch is her regretful ex, Jiang Qi, absolutely soaked from the heavy rain. He looks at her with bloodshot eyes, his face dripping with a mix of rain and regret. Choking back tears, he asks Wantang if she really forgot that today is his birthday. Hearing this, Wantang just stares at him with empty eyes, suddenly remembering an old saying. Looking at the boy standing in front of her, she cannot summon a single emotion anymore. There is no love left, and honestly, not even a shred of hate remains. With red eyes, Jiang Qi desperately begs for her attention, repeating that it is his birthday. He reminds her of her promise to always be there, but she is just so exhausted. She mutters a flat, happy birthday to get it over with, but he breaks down, apologizing. He desperately asks if she is still angry, tears streaming down his red face. Wantang just lets out a quiet sigh, watching his dramatic breakdown in total silence. With eyes full of tears, Jiang Qi suddenly lunges forward and grabs her hand. He literally begs her to slap him to make things even, but she coldly yanks her hand away. She doesn't care about his feelings at all. She is just trying to avoid more drama. His mouth hangs open as rain and tears drip off his chin in a pathetic mess. Crying out, he begs Wantang for forgiveness, claiming he did not know what he was doing. He regrets his past actions, but by the time he tried to fix things, she had already transferred. He even went to the temple to find her, but saw another girl talking to her by the window. Blinded by petty jealousy, he blurted out horrible words he never truly meant to say. Wantang just sighs and exhales a long breath. She is completely over it. Deep exhaustion washes over her body, while Jiang Qi just stares at her, completely pale. She chuckles coldly, bringing up that infamous school confession wall incident from back then. With Jiang Qi's family connections, finding out who really posted that rumor was incredibly easy. The moment she says this, Jiang Qi hangs his head in absolute shame and pain. The truth is, he already knew the real culprit because they all grew up together. He knew her personality well enough to know she would never do something so cheap. Jiang Qi did not lack belief. He actively chose to blame her for it. They wanted to claim you as their partner to the entire school. They wanted to make sure you and I cut ties once and for all.
She wanted everyone to know Jiang Qi was her entire world.
Far more important than her childhood friend, Lu Ning. She even stayed silent while Jiang Qi slandered him. He watches her tears coldly. She made her choice. Why come back now? Cheng Xia just weeps, begging Lu Ning to forgive her. She reaches out to grab him, but he takes a step back. She cries that she was wrong. She screams that she did not know what she was doing and that she cannot live without him. I really miss you, she says. She thought of him every single day, but she ended up at the 4th high school. She could never wait for him outside, and she could not find him inside either. No matter how hard she tried, she could not find him. Tears streamed down her face. As she keeps apologizing, Lu Ning helplessly hangs his head and closes his eyes. His childhood friend. Yet she has become so pathetic. The old Cheng Xia would never be this embarrassing. She completely lost that proud, radiant energy she used to have. She used to proudly ask Lu Ning if she was not the coolest girl ever. That girl is gone. Jiang Qi stands nearby with red eyes, calling her name, but Cheng Xia does not even look back. Suddenly, Jiang Qi grits his teeth and rushes over to punch Lu Ning, yelling at him to beat it, accusing him of ruining their relationship, but Lu Ning simply dodges. Then, boom! Lu Ning kicks him straight in the gut, sending him groveling on the floor. Cheng Xia screams at Jiang Qi that they broke up and tells him to stop bothering her. As she roars in anger, Jiang Qi begs to know what he did wrong. He cries that he loves her too much and does not want to separate. Jiang Qi looks pale as she ignores him. Honestly, Lu Ning is tired of this messy drama.
He just shuts the door on them. He has zero interest in their toxic love story.
Forget that noise. September arrives. Now he is a high school senior, just like his teacher said. Nothing is more important than the upcoming college entrance exam. All he wants is to get into Beicheng University, but his classmates keep sending him updates on the X's. Turns out all of Jiang Qi's singing competition trophies were completely faked. The guy actually bribed the art exam judges. Think about how hard real art students suffer.
They cry, wipe their tears, and keep practicing.
Sweating buckets, but still grinding. Seeing a cheater like this is actually so frustrating. Naturally, the angry students exposed him online.
Jiang Qi had a decent online following because of his looks.
But as the scandal blew up, his exam scores were completely disqualified. Completely ruined, he began stalking her.
Cheng Xia was so annoyed that her parents immediately transferred her to another school,
just to make sure Jiang Qi could never find her. Now, the school forum is going wild. Everyone who used to ship them is now just laughing at how pathetic it all ended. Lu Ning just treats it as a joke and stays fully focused on his studies. As the countdown calendar gets thinner, everyone wishes they could split their days to get more time. So many key concepts still unlearned, so many things left to memorize. The monthly exams are right around the corner. Honestly, Lu Ning often stands on the 10th floor corridor, spotting Cheng Xia outside the gates just standing there in total silence, as the noise from Chai Ming's kitchen slowly faded away. June finally arrived, bringing the college entrance exam with it. Rain poured on exam day, and honestly, that math paper was notoriously brutal. By the 5th multiple choice question, our guy's heart completely sank. His palms were drenched, cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Leaving the hall, he felt completely doomed as the entire stairwell echoed with complaints. It was just too brutal, and honestly, many students couldn't handle the pressure. Classmates were literally breaking down and crying. They felt defeated, but time waits for no one. Time doesn't stop for complaints, and the exam wasn't about to get any easier. The final subject was biology. He checked every answer with absolute focus. Ensuring nothing was missed, he capped his pen and looked out at the green trees. The classroom was dead silent until the intercom announcement finally rang out. With only 5 minutes left, his high school days and his entire youth were coming to an end as he walked out. Stepping outside, he looked back at number 4 high, where he'd spent just a year and a half. It still brought up so many emotions as he smiled and waved goodbye to his youth. Goodbye, number 4 high, and goodbye to 18. No one stays 18 forever. But there will always be someone who is. Once exams ended, he refused to go back home. Instead, he joined Jishi for a summer job in Qingchen, where every couple of days, he kept getting calls from Li Cheng, but he just blocked every single one. People don't actually drift apart just because they let go of each other's hands. It's because they got blinded by other distractions. Then, the day the exam results finally dropped, his score was actually shielded. Talk about a top-tier flex. He looked at the message sent by the provincial department. He covered his mouth, tears of joy finally spilling over. He did it, number 1 in the province, scoring a mind-blowing 713. All his hard work paid off. Every single step mattered. But right after, his trash parents suddenly wanted back in his life. He watched coldly as they smiled for the cameras. They boasted about their great parenting. Jishi called them utterly shameless since they never cared before. He just stared into the distance. Eventually, reporters tracked him down too. With a calm, faint smile, he revealed the truth about his cheating dad. His biased mom, his broken home, and how he had to survive it all. In today's viral age, as soon as that interview dropped, it completely blew up. People were heartbroken but amazed by his insane mental strength, prompting him to swap his SIM card and rely entirely on his full scholarship and prize money. His 4-year college expenses were fully covered. On the second morning of the term, it was time for military training as he and his roommates rushed to the field. The playground was absolutely packed, and they had zero clue where to stand. He stood there scratching his head, completely lost in the crowd.
Suddenly, a sweet and familiar voice called out to him from behind.
He froze for a second, then turned around to see a face from his past.
She was standing against the light, smiling warmly and saying, "Long time no see."
Once dismissed, he headed straight to the cafeteria. But that night, Shen Mantang blocked him at the dorm. Shen Mantang walks up to his roommates who are just eating popcorn and asks if she can borrow him for a second. But Lu Ning is not having it.
She grabs his hand, begging him in a pitiful voice to just let her explain.
He steps aside with a cold face, and she quickly apologizes.
She softly explains that her family's in Beicheng, but they had a massive falling out back then.
That is why she moved to Linchen to study, and her sudden departure that day was for one reason.
Her grandma was dangerously sick.
She hangs her head, whispering that only her grandma was ever nice to her.
Looking totally dejected, she admits this might sound like a cheap drama plot.
After returning to Beicheng, her phone got stolen while she was busy taking care of her grandma. With a new phone card, she found herself blocked everywhere. She actually returned to Linchen later, but they were already in their senior year of high school. Fearing she would ruin his focus, she chose not to show up. She swears on her life that she is telling the absolute truth. Meanwhile, guys heading back to the dorms can't help but stare at the gorgeous girl standing outside. But the moment they lock eyes with a glaring Lu Ning, they quickly turn away. Staring down at his shadow, Lu Ning's mind is a total mess of complicated feelings. In the end, he just nods quietly. Honestly, he has no idea what he's even supposed to feel right now. Is he angry? That past is gone. Is he happy? Not really either.
He just needs some time to think, so he tells her he is going back inside.
But the second he turns around, Shen Mantang suddenly throws her arms around him. In a muffled voice, she confesses she loves him and swears she has never had a boyfriend. A guy chased her for ages, but she always said no. All those rumors about her changing boyfriends like clothes were just petty lies he made up. The burning warmth of her hands on his waist starts to heat up. Through his daze, he hears her whisper, asking him to be her boyfriend. Unable to give her a straight answer that day, he literally panicked and ran away in a daze. After military training, Shen Mantang goes to the law department on the East Campus. Meanwhile, Lu Ning is over in computer science. Ever since school started, her face has been absolutely dominating the campus confession boards. Then, someone posts a picture online, warning everyone to stop trying to confess to the law department's goddess. The poster writes that they are in the computer science department,
And they keep seeing her show up to sit through lectures with her boyfriend whenever she can.
It is way too sweet, so everyone should just give up, attaching a photo showing the truth. Lu Ning sitting by the window with a cold face while Shen Mantang pouts beside him, looking exactly like a guilty puppy, watching his every move with extreme caution. He actually just told her to stay away. Once that post got out, everyone started saying Shen Mantang acts like a whipped wife, looking so adorably pitiful. Meanwhile, Cheng Xia had also applied to a college in Beicheng originally. But his scores fell short. On Christmas, as Lu Ning walked toward the gate, he suddenly realized his phone was left in the dorms, and after grabbing it, he spotted Cheng Xia standing there. The moment he saw Lu Ning, his eyes lit up as he called out, gasping that he had finally found him, leaving Lu Ning completely shocked. Lu Ning frowns and tries to walk away, but his ex Cheng Xia blocks him, wearing the down jacket he once gifted her, along with the matching scarf. Refusing to let go, she desperately pleads, "Lu Ning! Today is Christmas. Can we please just have dinner together?" But then a voice cuts in. Shouldn't she ask his girlfriend before inviting someone else's man out? Shen Mantang walks up looking completely annoyed, stepping right between Lu Ning and Cheng Xia. Cheng Xia clenches her fists as her face goes completely pale.
She stammers, asking if it is true, and Lu Ning coldly replies that yes, he has a girlfriend now.
He tells her to never look for him again, leaving her in utter denial. Looking completely unhinged, her eyes turn bloodshot as she stares at him.
She screams, how could he have a girlfriend when he promised to marry her when they were kids?
She begs if they are truly over, but Shen Mantang steps up with a freezing glare and grabs her collar. Shen Mantang snaps. Yeah, thanks for having zero taste, now get the hell away from him. Sheng Chao collapses like she lost all her strength as Shen Mantang literally throws her to the dirt. Shen Mantang locks arms with Lu Ning and walks past, leaving Cheng Xia crying out a useless apology. Now, the Lu family business relied heavily on the Cheng family, and not long after Cheng Xia went home, Lu Ning's toxic parents rushed to Beicheng, demanding he get back with Cheng Xia for the sake of the company. Lu Ning stares at them in absolute disbelief. What kind of parents are they? How could they say something so completely heartless? His eyes well up with furious tears. He yells out, if they never loved him, why did they even bring him into this world? His mother literally pokes his forehead and shrieks that they gave him life, fed him, clothed him, and asks what more he could possibly complain about. The sheer toxicity makes Lu Ning's ears ring as he stumbles backward. They look like wild beasts, ready to tear him to shreds. But then, Shen Mantang rushes in, pulling him into a tight embrace and covering his ears, telling him to block out their nonsense. In the end, the toxic Lu family still goes completely bankrupt. Cheng Xia was waiting for Lu Ning to crawl back and beg, but honestly, this bankruptcy was exactly what he wanted. She has no idea he's prepared an even bigger, much more devastating parting gift for her. See, Jiang Qi had been hunting for Cheng Xia for years, and when Cheng Xia foolishly messaged Lu Ning her hotel room number, he casually forwarded it straight to Jiang Qi. Talk about a pro-revenge move. Let the old lovers catch up. They actually ended up hooking up again after that night, but that defiant, completely untamable girl? Shay Cha? She was once Lu Ning's entire youth's joy and secret. But soon, the scandal of Jiang Qi cheating on his wife spreads like absolute wildfire. The Cheng family tries to play dead and hide Cheng Xia, but Jiang Qi's furious wife tracks her down anyway. She stabs Cheng Xia, leaving her critically injured with a ruptured spleen. Talk about instant karma. As for Jiang Qi, his wife beats him straight into a vegetative state. This is actually crazy. Lu Ning promised he'd build a bright future for himself, while these toxic people rot in the mud. Meanwhile, Shen Mantang is cutely whining to Lu Ning, asking where her handmade sachet is. She keeps nagging him, but because of her past jealousy, he's been teasing her and holding back. Since she won't stop pouting, he finally sighs and pulls a custom sachet out of his bag. It's a special good luck sachet, and the second Shen Mantang grabs hold of it, she lights up like a kid who just got their favorite candy. Absolutely adorable. Years later, Lu Ning writes the very last line in his personal journal. To his wife, her presence was the ultimate salvation of his life. Now for Shen Mantang's side story. She once read a quote in a book. Honestly, calling someone by their full name? Such a complicated love language. But Lu Ning completely misses the hint. Later, she spots his dropped sachet. Wait, aren't sachets for lovers? She asks for it, but he says no. When he finally agrees to make her one, she is literally over the moon. Except fate plays a massive joke on her. Missed it again, but thankfully. She looks at him sleeping soundly and steals a quick kiss. This time, she succeeds.